Hello, hello. Welcome in. I'm Tammy Master-Birdie, best-selling author of the book The Universe is Talking to You. Tap into signs and synchronicity to reveal magical moments every day. And I help people tap in or use spiritual tools to tap into that divine higher helpline for guidance, for answers, for direction. And today I'm here with my Trust the Universe sweatshirt to talk about pets and animals, which I don't always talk about, but they're such a part of our life and they can send us signs from the other side as well. I have talked about that before. And I wanted to come on here. What sparked me was just some stuff that has been going on with our animals. And then I happened to be talking to, at 1 p.m. Eastern today, animal communicator and animal energy healer and teacher, Joan Ranquette, who will be part of the Living an Elevated Existence Summit. She's going to be talking about animal communication and how anybody can learn it. Speaking of animals, here's the cat. And also talking about energy healing using EFT on your pets. Yes, you can do that. And also something she calls the scalar wave. So I'm going to be talking about that today with her. And then coming up, we have Denise Mange, who is a pet numerologist that's coming up in the summit. And we also have Jerry Carabin, who is another animal communicator, and she'll be doing some live readings. So lots of animal stuff coming up in the summit right now. But I wanted to come on here and share with you a little bit about how I use the divine higher helpline for help with my pets and for help with my animals. I used to have a cat years ago. Her name was Phoebe. She's since passed on. I now have Callie, who is in my lap. We have a cat that lives in our barn that literally lived there when we bought the house. And so we just love him and feed him now. And then we have 4 goats that we wound up acquiring. Long story about that. So I love animals, love them, have always loved them, always been so connected to them. And what I have found is that just like there is help available for us from that divine higher helpline, from those higher helpers, there is help available for our animals. And so there are specific higher helpers that we can call on for our animals, which I'm going to share with you. And I'm going to tell you an amazing story of how I utilized them at one point and how they immediately helped me. And I'm also going to share with you another tool, which is animal communication. And I have worked with animal communicators for years to help me tap into the energy of my pets. I've taken courses on it myself. I've been able to tap into animals myself, but it's always very hard to read yourself or read your own animals. Especially, not in general, but especially when there's an emotional issue happening, right? So that's when you sort of go out into other animal communicators. So let's start with who I call on. There are a lot of different higher helpers that work with nature and with animals. And there's 2 that I find that I always call in. The first one, I see Mary actually in the chat mentioned the first one. So the first one is Archangel Ariel. Archangel Ariel does multiple things, like a lot of archangels, but she's an angel of nature and the natural world, and that includes animals. So I would call on her for help with anything connected to your animals, whether it's a behavior, whether it's trying to figure something out, whether it's healing, whatever it might be. And actually, I said 2, there's 3. So a lot of times I'll call in Archangel Ariel to work with Archangel Raphael if there's a healing issue, if there's something going on with the pet from that aspect. So I'll combine the 2 of them together, often for specific healing. But anything around your animals or pets, if you're looking for guidance, if you're looking for answers, if you're looking for direction to the right people that can help you or the right ideas that can help you, Archangel Ariel is amazing. And then for healing, I pair her with Archangel Raphael. The other person that I call on is Saint Francis of Assisi, who is a patron saint of animals and pets. And so I will call on him to watch over my animal, especially if I know they're suffering with something, to direct me to what is best for that animal, to help me figure out what is going on with that animal. Recently, we had a goat who wasn't feeling well. We couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. And it was, of course, don't all of your animal and pet emergencies happen on a weekend, right? Why can't these animals get sick or something go wrong with them during the week when vets are available? And here, listen, if it was a cat, obviously there's always an emergency vet, but there's not a lot of emergency vets for goats. So my goat got sick and we didn't know what was going on. And we were trying to call the vet that we normally go to. He wasn't in all weekend. His wife, who's also in the practice, also out for the weekend. And so I called in Archangel Raphael, Archangel Ariel, and St. Francis of Assisi. And I was like, please watch over this animal. We don't know what's going on with him. I want him to make it until we can get him to help. Please watch over him and please help, my husband and I figure out what we can do in the meantime. So, I mean, we tried, I can't even tell you how many vets and hospitals and people that we reached out to because our normal vet wasn't available. And suddenly my husband was like, you know what? I'm going to reach out to the lady that we got the goats from because she breeds goats. And I bet you she might be able to help us. So I was like, thank God your brain is on. So he called her and she was like immediately like pull down his eye and check if is it red and pink or is it, I know nothing about goats, right? Check if it's red or pink or if it's like pale. And we were like, it's pale. And she's like, okay, I think it's worms. It's normal. Goats get this, blah, blah, blah. I have medication if you want to come and pick it up. We were like, oh my God, thank God. So he wound up getting these, it was 2 different medications. He picked them up. She put them in syringes for us. Within the second dose, the goat was like back to normal. We never even had to take him to the vet, but we couldn't have anyway. And this poor goat would have suffered. He wasn't drinking or eating. I was worried he was dehydrating. You know how these animals get you. So anyway, I called in that help and my husband was like, you know what? I think I'm going to call the goat lady. I know that we were guided to that. But the story that I want to tell you specifically about calling in higher help happened years ago when I had my cat, Phoebe. So Phoebe, I adored and loved. I got her a couple months after my mother died when I was 22 years old. And that cat hung out with me for, she was like 6 months old when I got her and she lived to like over 17. But at the time, she wasn't doing well. Nobody really was diagnosing her properly. I mean, that's a whole other story. I took her to a million different places, but I wound up taking her to this homeopathic vet. And the homeopathic vet put together a mixture for her to take. And so sometimes with humans, you'll take liquid like most people know the pellets, but sometimes there's liquid tinctures that you'll take and you have to dilute it and then you take it with a spoon. So for her, she pre-mixed it and diluted it. And so I had to suck it up with a syringe. And now it's mixed with water, right? It tastes like nothing. It smells like nothing. But this cat was not having it. Okay. She saw me with this syringe coming at her and she was like, hell no. And she took off. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm trying to help this cat. And now I'm not going to be able to get this medicine into her. And any of you that have cats know, I mean, dogs are so much easier to get medication into because, you like put some peanut butter on it and they're like, yay. So I had this syringe and I'm chasing her around the house, under the dining room table, over to the couch. I go to the couch, under the dining room table. It was just this thing. And finally I stopped because I thought, I'm not gonna be able to do this. Like I'm literally trying to help this cat. She's not gonna let me help her. And so I just stopped and I said, you know what? And this has got to be 10 years ago. I don't even know, years ago. I stopped and I said, nope, I'm going to call in my higher help. So I said a prayer. I called in my angels and guides. I called in my mother from the other side. I called in Archangel Ariel and St. Francis. And I said, please explain to this cat that I am trying to help her. This is literally what I said. Can you please explain to this cat that I am trying to help her, that this is not gross, that it doesn't taste like anything. I just need to get it in her, and I need to be able to do this on a daily basis. Like, is there some way you can just get this cat to realize and help me to be able to get it in her and even catch her? So I stopped and said the prayer. So the running around continued, and within a couple of minutes of me saying the prayer and asking for help, swear to you on my life, this is what happened. This cat ran through the dining room, through the kitchen, into the living room, and laid down in front of me. She literally laid down in front of me. And I was like, oh. And so I bent down and I was like, oh my God. And I shot it into her mouth, and that was it. There's no way she was it's not, you can't say to me, oh, Tammy, she was probably tired and she gave up. No, she would have gone on. Okay. I know that those higher helpers intervened and made it easier for me. And then from that point on, it wasn't 100% that I could get it in all the time, but she got more and more used to it. And then she wouldn't even move. She would just, move her head and let me shoot it in, and everything was fine after that. And she lived for many years after this incident. But that's what I mean by calling in your higher helpers, right? You can call them in every day for something like, when I need help or I need healing, I say, please be with my animal today until we figure out what's going on. But I will call them in the moment that something is happening, in the moment where I'm like, God, this is not working. I can't figure this out. What am I supposed to do? And now I'm in trouble. That's the moment where you need to remember to stop and ask for the help. And I stopped and asked for the help, and that cat just laid down in front of me, and I was able to give her the medicine. So that is my example of the higher help that I call on for pets and animals. And it honestly works every time. Again, whether they talk to that animal and help them understand something, whether they can assist you with coming up with an idea. Like my husband, all of a sudden in the middle of our panic, was like, wait a minute, I can call the woman we got the goats from, who luckily answered the phone and is the sweetest woman in the world, and was like, no, come and get this. She had to run out. She's like, I'm going to leave it hanging on the doorknob. Just come and get it. Gave us probiotic for the goat, everything. So do not underestimate the power of higher helpers, including for your animals. That's the first piece. The second piece I have to say is I do utilize animal communicators, and what I have found, and I've never been disappointed, and I've used many different ones, some of them that are going to be in this summit. I've worked with Joan Rancat years ago with my cat Phoebe, Jerry Carabin, who's going to be in our summit in a couple of weeks, who's going to be doing live readings. She's a psychic medium, an animal communicator. She does intuitive coaching. She kind of runs the gamut. I still contact her when I'm, trying to figure something out with my animal. So what I find with animal communicators, and what's awesome, is that they can contact your animal whether they are alive or passed on. So if you have an animal that is passed on and you want to sort of find closure or, connect with them on that level, animal communicators can do that as well. And I've done that as well. I've done that every time I've lost a pet, even if it was just, when we first moved in here, there was 2 cats in the barn and one passed away. And I just, 100%, I share an amazing sign that I got from that cat. Actually, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see a sign that I got from her after she passed. And I use them if I'm trying to figure something out, if I'm trying to figure out how to help my animal. The other thing that I find with a lot of animal communicators is that your animals want you. It's not just about them. Your animals want to help you. Your animals are here to teach you. And so a lot of the time, their behavior is representative of something they are trying to wake you up to. And so you can discover this through animal communicators. So I think it's just an amazing tool that we can all utilize. And again, I have 3 different ones that are in the summit, and you can join Elevated Existence Summit if you go in my bio and Instagram, or if you go under the description in YouTube or Facebook. If you're watching this, you can join that summit. It's for free, and it's still happening now through the end of March with live interviews. So I have Joan today, and then tomorrow I'm actually going to be live just for summit listeners in Zoom doing oracle card readings. So a group oracle card reading as well as individual readings for people. And I usually go about an hour and a half for that. So if you want to get on that, join the summit as well, and you'll get that secret Zoom link to join me. So a lot of stuff going on with the summit. But again, I wanted to just come on here and talk animals a little bit because I feel like it's such a big piece of so many of our lives. And yes, you can utilize the Divine Higher Helpline for your animals. You can utilize animal communicators. You can learn animal communication yourself. Anybody can learn it, especially if you've already sort of sharpened some intuitive skills in another area. Oh my gosh, it'll be super easy for you to learn how to do that. And then again, energy medicine that we use for ourselves, we can use for our animals. And that's something that we're going to be talking about with Joan today, who has literally really brought out EFT for your animals into the world. And also, again, she talks about something called the scalar wave. So we'll be going through all of that today at 1 p.m. Eastern, and then it'll be available to listen to audio only for 48 hours for free. So, and again, then I'll be live tomorrow. So I just wanted to come on here and talk animals with you guys for a little bit, because I think we all love our animals so much. Sometimes we take better care of our animals than we take of ourselves. And I wanted to just share with you some of those tools that I use in my life with my animals and have been using for years, because they work, because you can depend on them, right? So those specific higher helpers, Archangel Ariel, Archangel Raphael, and Saint Francis of Assisi. And again, you do not have to have grown up Catholic or Christian or anything like that to call on Saint Francis of Assisi. Religion is physical world. On the other side, we're all connected. There is no separation. There is no your beliefs are this and your beliefs are that. So you can call on any higher helpers from any area that you choose. So yes, you can call on Saint Francis of Assisi, and he's amazing and he will assist you. So those are the ones that I call on. I shared a couple stories with you about how they helped me, and let me know if you like this video. If you like my weekly spirit boost, please hit that like button, no matter where you are watching this on, because that helps the algorithms of the world let people know that yes, people like her stuff, and keep showing her to people. So please hit those like buttons, and please leave a comment and let me know if you have any questions about anything that I've spoke about today. I thank you all for being here. Thank you for the likes. I see them coming in. You guys are amazing. I'm sending you so much love. I hope you are going to join me in the summit in a half an hour with Joan. And then tomorrow for the oracle card readings, which I have so much fun doing them in the group setting for everybody. So I hope you will join me there, elevatedexistencesummit.com. It is free. I'm going to go prep for Joan's interview, where we'll be talking animal communication and animal energy healing. And I will see you back here next week at noon Eastern. Once again, thank you all. Sending you love. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. And I will see you next week. Bye, everyone. My cat is still on my lap.